Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Is it
I
weed
can
you're
see it
looking
in your
for?
eyes.
I can turn the gray skies blue. I can make it rain whenever I do. Yeah, I can make a ship, they say, I can make a ship sail on dry land.
Hey.
Oh, can't get next to you.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm
What's
David
going on
Ruffin, and
here?
these are the Temptations.
No. I thought you could have bust out with that cameo.
Oh, cameo? Nah.
Oh.
I had enough cameos for earlier, you know.
Are we recording?
It's like candy. I can hear it when you walk now. Got you. I don't even know what that nigga be talking about, but that nigga harmonies be on point. It's like candy.
You stupid, man.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
Welcome to the third official episode of the Socially Conscious St. Louis podcast, family. I'm your host, King David. I am in this building with my co-host, Rebecca. How you doing today, Rebecca?
I am doing great. Wait till
Good,
we get to this show.
good.
It's going to be a good one, man.
Man, we not canceled yet. That's a good thing.
White folks, they be like, you niggas. Yeah,
They
I'm
ain't
too much
took
real.
videos off YouTube yet, my nigga, but we gonna get there.
They ain't blocked our Skype account.
One day we shall overcome, and my videos will be taken down. Hallelujah.
You're right. You dirt.
So, today we have music appreciation in the black community or lack thereof, false flags and conspiracies surrounding black deaths, Bob Marley, Sandra Bland, etc., Mr. and Mrs. Harvey scandal, Oprah selling out majority ownership of the OWN network, and more on the next Dragon Ball Z.
You're right. Right.
I love Dragon Ball Z, man. Look,
Yeah.
will Krillin die?
You're right.
Frieza. How
You're
many
right.
episodes are we gonna have before they finally defeat Frieza? Find out next on Dragon Ball Z.
Ball Z.
That was the longest, most stretched out series ever.
I'm trying to figure out, is it longer than Pokemon or no?
Nah, Pokemon is like Lamb Chops Play Along. It's the song that never ends.
The same thing. Oh, no.
Man, it's kind of like Power Rangers. Like, I get that Haim Saban is getting money off of Power Rangers. Like, hey, I feel you, bro. But how many sets of Ninja Raiders are we on, bro? Like 5 or 6?
It's not more.
Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Be like Frozen. Let it go, Saban. Let it go, man. Look, it's cool. I mean,
I just agree.
I guess niggas still getting some ratings off of it because, you know, kids, they don't know the difference. But it is what it is, man. So, yes, our first topic for discussion is music appreciation in the black community or lack thereof. Now, you can already see just between me and Rebecca Clown and we playing some old school jams. You know what I mean? I love the old school, well, what we would call old school music, what white people would call classics. I was born in 87, so I was born the same year that Rakim's Paid in Full album came out. That was his debut album. That was a killer. Rakim came out, changed the whole lyrical game forever, man. Shout out to Rakim.
Yeah, man.
This is the 30-year anniversary of Paid in Full this year, and Zoe Williams was actually slated to like not necessarily host, but he was supposed to be like a presenter or something. So that ought to have been pretty cool, man. But I wanted to talk about this topic of music appreciation or lack thereof in the black community is because I see a disturbing trend that has not necessarily been going on right now. It's not necessarily something that's new. It's something that's quite old. But we black people are so quick to give up the music that we created in favor of something new. And here in the last probably 10 to 15 years, that something new hasn't been no good. Like we had rock and roll. We invented rock and roll. White people took that shit. We had R&B. They about taking that over. They got Justin Timberlake and Adele and all these white artists and Robin Thicke, who was stealing from Marvin Gaye, which I like Marvin Thicke. Not Marvin Thicke, Robin Thicke, rather. I like Robin Thicke, but bro, you stealing from Marvin Gaye, dog, you know that's a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
That's a no-no.
Got sued for it too.
I'm glad they sued, and you know, Paula Patton is too fine to be with you anyways. So, Paula Patton.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm playing. But anyways, man, like I see a trend with whites support their artists. Like they support their artists to the fullest, which is why bands like Kiss and, you know, Bruce Springsteen, Aerosmith, all these old bands, you know, even the hair metal bands like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses, like all of these bands can still tour and still decent living just off of their shows because white people support the hell out of their artists. Like they don't call it old, or they call them like classics. Oh, these are classics. And a lot of times you will see just as many, if not more, young white people at an Eagles concert than you will the older people. And they know, like, word for word. Like, they know more than their parents know. And I have that type of appreciation for music in general, especially our music, because I know more about my parents' music than they do, you know, just from the Al Green, the Stylistics, the Shy Lights, the Teddy P, the Marvin, the OJs, you know, Confunction, Shaka Khan and Rufus. The list goes on. The list goes on. But I mean, I'm a rare soul. I mean, I guess for those who grew up in the 70s and, you know, 80s, who kind of was born in the 60s and 70s and 80s, they know about all of that music because that's all the music that their parents had at the time. Like, you know, you got to think, like, hip-hop wasn't invented. R&B was just starting to get invented around the 70s and 80s, so they have an appreciation for older music. We, as the millennials, don't seem to have this appreciation for older music. And then there's another side to it, too, with the older generation not embracing the young people's music. So, Rebecca, I would like you to touch on that for a second.
Are you talking which part? Which part? Are we talking about the older generation not touching? Not really, you know.
No. That'd be like touch on the lack of musical appreciation in the black community. Why do you think it is that we as black people do not hold on to our culture for our dear life? Why is it that we do not jam J's just as much as we do Lil Boosie? Speak on it.
Well, I think as far as like, I'll touch on as far as like us not, I guess what I would think of it as giving away our culture. I think what's wrong with black folks, or what's wrong with our community, is that we are so busy trying to be included. and we are so busy trying to fit in and fit into a system and fit into a narrative that wasn't even meant for us. It's no good for us. It wasn't built for us. So the need to feel included, or the need for black folks of not feeling good enough, of saying pick me, pick me, pick me, or choose me, I'm acceptable, I'm this, I'm that. It kind of gives way to allow others to freely come in and just take what they want. We're so busy, in my opinion, we're so busy trying to be included that we just give stuff away. Oh, sure, you can have it. Do you like me yet? Am I included yet? Am I good enough yet? I mean, that's how I see it. As far as like the music appreciation standpoint, I just feel like I'm kind of torn on it, because I think people who are born from our generation, we have a respect for it because that's the music that we were around. You know what I'm saying? We were around like the OJs, Earth, Wind, and Fire. We was raised on all of that. Frankie Beverly and Maze, and yeah. We were, Stevie Wonder. We were raised on all of that great old school music. And I mean, to me, the old school music is timeless. It is legit timeless. Like, the music wasn't just music to just, they weren't talking about selling drugs, and they weren't talking about all that kind of stuff. And if they were, it was a lesson in it. You know what I mean? And I think that the younger generation don't appreciate it because they feel like they want to pave their own way in music, even though it sounds like garbage. I think most of it sounds like garbage. It's just my opinion, except for a few brothers like, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, people like that. But I've heard a lot of young people say that they wanted to pave their own way in music, and that the older generation just don't understand because the times are different and things are different, and the world is not the same and all that other kind of stuff. And the older generation is like, but you're losing your essence of the culture. And I think the younger generation is not picking up on the fact of the essence of the culture of hip hop. Like, it's not just about music. It's not just about making money. It's the essence of it. And I think the older generation did it more so for the essence of art, the essence of the culture, the essence of who we are as a people, more so than the younger generation. The younger generation is just doing it for the money. And, well, not all of them. Some of them are doing it more so for the money and the fame and the art of it. So, I mean, they're not really doing it for the art of the music, in my opinion, if any of that made sense.
Yes, all of that. Definitely.
I'm sure you're going to come from a different standpoint, but that's just how I look at it.
It all makes sense. Now, one thing that stands out to me is what you keep saying is the word culture. Mm-hmm. Culture stands out to me because we as black people, our entire musical genre is born out of a culture.
I agree.
The blues in the Mississippi Delta was born out of that slave culture when they in the field and they picking cotton, and not just slaves, sharecroppers too, or you was just working in the field. That's what they had. That's what they had as blues. That's what their soul created to soothe their pains while being under the threat of the global system of white supremacy and being enslaved. I mean, you might as well say sharecropping was enslaved, because by the time you get finished working the land, most of the time you in debt.
Yep.
The slave master or former slave master. It's just like jazz. Okay. We created jazz. That is an American musical culture. Mm-hmm. Especially hip hop. And I mean, it's a great documentary, like one of my favorites. And I can't even necessarily call it a documentary. It's an experience. It's an Ice-T film. It's called Something from Nothing: The Art of Rap.
I saw it
basically
several times.
What Ice-T does, he goes around and talks to all his friends and find
Mm-hmm.
out why they decided to be in the hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Why they decided to be in the hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Why they rhyme the way they do. What is their thought pattern? You know what I'm saying? What makes you do what you do? It's a famous quote that Dr. Dre said. He said that I don't do it for the money. The money's going to come. I do it for the love. And Dr. Dre said if I was a plumber, I would still do hip hop because I love it. And I feel, on one part, I feel that the love is gone. Nobody loves to go into the studio anymore and make it strictly up off of pure thought and feeling. People just get in there and say whatever the hell that they can say to get a quick buck, which I blame it on us because
Mm-hmm.
it's not our generation, but the original hip-hop generation who kind of sort of dropped the ball. They should have been a little bit more diligent about guarding the culture, which that is a black problem that we have been seeing. It's not just hip-hop, and it's just like rock and roll. Rock and roll was taken over by white folk, and hip-hop is headed that way. You got racist Confederate flag flying motherfuckers rapping. That doesn't even mix. The hip-hop culture, the B-boys, the B-girls, the aerosol riders, the MC, the dancers, all of that is a culture. Hip-hop itself is a culture. It's a whole subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
Something, it was born of the times. And it's a mix of the old because hip-hop is based off of all the old music that we already forementioned. And it reinvented it and created it into something new. But
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like, despite the fact that there are those in power who push these people through money and through propaganda, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
there used to be a code in hip-hop to where if you was biting, stealing other people's lines, you'd get called out. You might get your ass whipped. That's how serious they took that.
Mm.
Would laugh you out the room if they caught you stealing somebody's flow or somebody's style using their rhymes. They would laugh you out the room, probably laugh you out the city. But we don't have that anymore. We don't have that. And I think part of the reason why is that we as black people who come from this slave culture, I think and I feel that we are so conditioned to feel like the white man is going to come in and take everything that I own, everything that I worked so hard for. I feel that the white man is going to come in and take it from me, so I have to spend it while I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to hurry up and get this in and move on to the next thing before the white man take it. Or I got to
I agree.
this check before the white man take it. I feel like that is who we are as a people. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I don't know if we're necessarily afraid, or maybe it's because we're just so doggone special. Because you could easily say that we created jazz, but we created everything. Let's just say everything. Everything except for like country. We created classical and everything in between. That's us. So is it something like we're so special that we just give everything away freely? Because I could go create some more stuff over here. Like, that's cool. But now I could go create something else. What do you think about that?
Are you talking about as far as us being separate?
Like, as far as us creating all of these genres and us being people of the creator, people who are as close to the creator, we create things, classical, jazz, blues, hip-hop, R&B. So is it something to where are we afraid that someone's going to come in and take it? Or are we just so doggone special at creating stuff like we could just go create something else?
I think both in a way. I do believe that we as a people, I mean, with us having the natural power and abilities to be able to do anything, we can go and create something else. The problem, the question that I have is, are we going to give that away too? You know what I mean? And my other question is, are we as a people going to realize that we do have the power and ability to do those things? And I think that's where it starts, because I think we've been stripped of so much, and I think we've been stripped of so much that we just feel like we ain't got nothing, so we just give away the little that we do have to feel included. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, are we going to give that away? Are we going to keep that for ourselves? Like, I had this conversation, and it's almost like the conversation was, should we separate ourselves from other races? But I feel like they do it to us. So why can't we do the same? Why can't we have something for ourselves? Other races don't include us in their decisions unless it's about how much they could get us to spend more money with them. Other than that, it means nothing else. You know what I mean? And it may sound harsh, but it's the truth. I mean, it is 1,000% the truth.
Yeah.
And that we have to be able to not be afraid to say it. So do I think that black folks need to just go out and create their own stuff? I think that we've created enough, but I don't think that we've created enough to where we can stop. I think the fact is that we can create other things as far as like music or anything, enterprises, anything. We just need to keep it to ourselves and not be so willing and just in a rush to include other people or to be included so much to where we just give it away. I feel like we're at a place where we feel like, oh, we've needed the white man all this time, and we still need him in order to back us for us to be successful and to have notoriety.
Okay, now let me take this because that's very powerful what you said, but we get ready to take a little detour and go down a different direction.
Okay.
We don't teach musical
Mm,
to the next generations.
that is accurate.
You don't teach that who Billie Holiday was and what she accomplished and what her sound was. How was Billie Holiday revolutionary? How was
Free.
people like Mahalia Jackson, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin? We don't even talk about it. We don't even talk about the fact that most of our artists came out of the church. You don't even know how important the church is to the black community. Dr. Carter G. Woodson teaches us that the black church or the religious organization is very important. Most of our singers came out of the church. Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, damn near everybody who we've ever had as far as like singers come out of the black church. Do we know that?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
we teaching black musical history to the young black generations? Just like I took you back to 1987 with Rakim and Paid in Full.
Yeah.
That was revolutionary.
Yes, it was.
Niggas was not rapping like Rakim back in the day. Back before 1987, niggas was not rapping like Rakim.
I agree.
Niggas was a hip, the hip to the hip hop, you don't stop,
You
rock
don't
to
stop,
the
rock
bang,
to the
bang,
bang,
jump
bang, up,
to the
jump
rhythm, to the
boogie,
boogie beat. Or that
boogie
like,
beat.
so, or they had them real simplistic like ABC type of rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
That is where hip hop started from. When people like Rakim came in, he took it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
Rakim is the reason why there can be an Rakim is the reason why there can be a Tech Nine, a Twister, Right? The reason why you can have these cats spitting these really, really lyrical bars that you got to think about that takes you to another place. Rakim's got a line. He says, I'll take you through a walk through hell, freeze your dome, and watch your eyeballs swell. Guide you out of stage darkness. You'd be like, what?
So you have to rewind it at least 6 times to be like, okay. And then I'm ignorant, so I'm like, okay, I need to write this down because I don't know what this means. Like, but at least I took the effort to figure it out. If that made any sense.
Yeah. But still, niggas had concepts back then. Niggas had bars. They don't tell you when Big Eddie Kane came in, big sexy motherfucker with the suits. This nigga was doing dance moves and splits and getting it in real James Brown like, but he was a rapper. That was revolutionary.
Yeah.
Nigga,
I agree.
Beefs back then. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. The bridge is over, nigga. That's revolutionary. Krs-One, Love Is Gonna Get You. That's revolutionary.
Yeah, oh, Krs-One. Oh my God.
Ooh, and Brother Lawrence was preaching today, and he talked about the Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing, and he said the theme song of Do the Right Thing was Don't Believe the Hype. I was like, public enemy, don't believe it. And I was just back at like Friday. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. You be like, don't believe yeah. Hey, nigga, them are still bangers to this day. Those are still bangers. You can't go to a block party without hearing Will Smith Summertime.
Yeah. Regardless of the thing.
Sometime. Just sit back and unwind. Come on, bruh. Are we teaching the kids about this music? Are we even playing it for them?
No, we're not.
Man.
It's not like it was when we were back in the day. You know, when we were kids, I don't know how, like in my house, I'll say, like, especially in the summer, like we would have like maybe the door open, screen door closed, music blasting. I'm talking about, you hear something going, whoa, dum, 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 dum. You make me happy. Yeah.
Cause you can tell.
Yeah.
Hey, that nigga break it down. And I really love you. You should know, nigga be. Hey, man, I remember I was working at Mercy Hospital. And you know, you can't listen to that Frankie Beverly and Maze on the night shift, nigga. Cause you'll be, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. You be like, I'm sorry, y'all. Go back to sleep. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, you mess out of people. Man, like, but yeah, man.
That's what
it was.
Like, you know,
we grew up.
Listen to that type of stuff, and it evokes that type of feelings where it makes you want to sing out. Niggas don't even have to sing and can listen to an OJ song. Used to be my girl, especially them old drunk niggas. Especially them old drunk niggas. Used to be my girl. You be like, all right, OG, all right.
You understand? When they sing these songs, they not just singing them, they telling you. Like, you talking about all the drunk niggas, they still don't sit on the corner like, used to be my girl. And you like, all right. They like, no, you don't understand. It used to be my girl. Like, I'm trying to tell you what it is, man. Like, that, I cannot do nothing but love the old school stuff. My mama played Earth, Wind, and Fire every single day.
Man, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. That reminds me of Dr. Phil Valentine. He had likes. Dr. Phil Valentine is a huge Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. Shout out to Dr. Phil Valentine. He's a huge Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. And he started out one of his lectures talking about them, and he was like, he starts going into the music. Do you remember? He's like, yes, I do.
Hey, that was the song I took my wedding. Do you remember?
Do you remember? You'd be like, yes.
September,
Remember?
and the clouds away.
Man, even the slow songs like the Patti LaBelle,
I'm sorry, I had a moment.
even like the Patti LaBelle, somebody love, baby. Oh shit, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa,
oh,
whoa.
oh, somebody love you, baby. Man, them some classics. I got stuff in my, I listen to this
It's
stuff all the time, my nigga.
almost feels
Love
like
it.
so they, you almost feel like they're in the room with you. When you listen to these songs, you really
Man,
feel like you're having a conversation, even with that Patti LaBelle. You know what it is? Like they
right.
talking to,
You
and
know
then
what it is.
it's almost like they having a conversation with you. Who was the brother that cried? Lenny Williams.
Lenny
But wasn't
Williams.
it the brother?
That was Lenny
Yeah,
Williams. And
that brother.
I went home and I played my records until I just didn't want to hear them anymore.
I
I
really hope she
turned on the television until the television went off. And I went to sleep, but I found myself waking up a few hours later. Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna put it all out here. St. Louis podcast, my niggas, I'm gonna put it all on the line right here. There was this
exclusive.
Lisa. You remember Lisa?
Yeah, I remember Lisa. That was a little
Express
book
Script.
thing.
I love Lisa. I fell in love with Lisa. And when he had stopped talking, bruh, that Lenny Williams will put a nigga in his feelings real quick. Oh. Like that, I love this girl. Yeah, man. How come she don't call me no more, man? Dead serious. That Lenny Williams will put you in your feelings. It'll have you thinking about all your ex-boo things.
Man, Melanie Williams.
Tears will fill up in the wells. In the wells, my boy, them niggas could beg, couldn't they? Them niggas could beg. What's the dude? What's the name, son? Gerald Levert.
Yeah.
Ready? Girl, I'm tired of playing games, girl. Look, them the type of songs that evoke emotion. Like if you didn't know how to feel or express yourself to a woman,
You had no
a
choice.
Gerald Levert song, girl, I'm tired of playing games. She'd be like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Gee,
That way.
man, let me just give you some loving real quick. But I'm saying, man, I don't feel like we teach our younger kids about our music, but at the same time, we don't embrace a lot of their music. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the music nowadays is trash.
Yeah, buddy.
Because the generations have been dumbed down, and, you know, it's a whole part of this whole systematic thing, and then when it's so easy, the internet makes everybody so easily accessible that niggas can just get online and talk about whatever. I mean, nigga Future got a whole song called Molly and Percocets. And don't get me wrong, it's a banger. Because
I ain't heard it.
I love the ratchet drug filled songs just as much as I do the conscious KRS Type 1 songs.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same
never heard it.
time, huh?
I ain't never heard it.
Mask off. Fuck it, mask off. Percocets. Molly Percocets. Chase a check. Never chase a beer. You ain't never heard that? Anyways.
No, never heard it.
Like we get to a point where, like I say, I think it was the heads who started hip hop who dropped the ball. I think that they should have been a little bit more diligent about the stuff that's going on, and I think the Biggie and Tupac murder probably had a lot to do with that too.
Of course, them niggas was starting the movement. They and even with Tupac, like Tupac's mom was already out in the culture doing things in what people would consider conscious at that time. So Tupac was coming out of the whole like gangster rap just a little bit and making more songs that were aware, and I think that somebody saw it and didn't like it. That's what I believe.
That's quite possible, man. And that actually brings us into our next segue, because I mean that's one of the things we can harp on forever.
Yeah, so many conspiracies and stuff you can talk about.
It's so many sides to it. It's our fault. It's partially theirs fault. It's partially Whitey Locke's fault.
Yep.
You know, it's part of us as black people fault because we're not careful to keep our stuff in-house. But at the same time, we getting screwed forever. If you watch the movie with Beyonce about chess records, you know, you see that. You see it in the five.
Yep.
Like the
I know you're talking about
heartbeats, and you know, you see it where you come into a room and, hey, this is our album. They're like, hey, that's great, but this would sound better with these white guys. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ooh. You'd be like, nigga, where's the feeling? So it is a multi-layer, multi-tier, complex issue. But I'm glad
it is.
on two.
I agree.
I'm so glad you touched on it because we actually segue into the next topic perfectly. Nigga, give me an alley-oop and I'm getting ready to slam dunk this bitch. So,
all right.
how Tupac got killed, well, I want to talk about these false flags in the black community.
Now, this is where you're going to teach me something because I need to know what it is.
Well, a false flag is like a diversion, basically. Or it's something
cool.
to deter you from the truth. So it's just like they'll say that Tupac got killed by some thug gangbangers. That's a false flag. That is a false narrative. They say that Bob Marley died of cancer. But it was a white man who recently came out and admitted to killing Bob Marley and broke it down how he did it. He said he gave him a pair of shoes. It had this nail that had this disease on it that would give him cancer. He stepped on the nail, and then slowly but surely he started dying. So he said when he stepped on the nail, he was dead from that moment. So we see these things going on, and I don't think that we as a people truly understand what's going on out here. So do you mean to tell me that all of these people mysteriously die with no like organizational, you know, you just ruling out the impossible fact that it's a government organization that killed these people. Like, oh, it was cancer, it was this, it was that. Like they tried to say that Sandra Bland hung herself in the cell.
And nobody believed that anyway.
Right. But I want to know, what do you think about these things? Do you think that there's a concerted effort to take out those of us who are the most influential? We have to silence these folk. If
I agree.
On Coon and Buck Dance, speak on it.
The short version of it, yes. You trying to take out people who can kind of, I would say, awaken our community from their sleep, so to speak. At least that's how I feel about it. Of course, you want to take out the people who are influential. Why wouldn't you? If you're still trying to go forward with your agenda of white supremacy, why wouldn't you? People who are influential, that's people like Malcolm X. Love Malcolm X. Love Malcolm X. No shade to the brother. Of course you got the shirt on. Malcolm. Love Malcolm X. Is no shade to Martin Luther King. There's no less love, but I love Malcolm X. I loved his style and everything, that just be able to come from nothing to something and not be dumb enough to roll over and lay down for the system of white supremacy is just my opinion. People can take it or leave it. But people like Malcolm X. Of course. It's just like if you are the president and you got somebody who could come in and just potentially overthrow what you're doing with knowledge and truth. You think you ain't gonna take them out? Of course. So why wouldn't there be a dire need or a necessity to take out people who are influential and waking up the people who are still asleep, in a sense, if that made any sense? Of course it is. I do think there is a target to take out folks who are more influential. They're still trying to go forward with their agenda. They're still trying to go forward in continuing on the system of white supremacy and continue on their narrative. So of course they're not going to want to have people to fight against that, because you fight against that, then you got a rebellion, and then you got more Malcolms. You got more Malcolms than what you intended to have.
Mm-hmm.
So
why do you think it is that all of these people mysteriously own up to certain things when they get ready to die? Or do you think, rather, that there's a conspiracy on a conspiracy to keep black people confused, or to keep people confused? Because it ain't just us. There's conspiracies because, if you look at 9/11 and JFK and a whole bunch of other stuff, there's plenty of conspiracies. But does it seem to you that the worse it gets with the Trump administration, the more bullshit that starts to float out there? All of these stories. You got the Meghan Markle story that's floating out there. Everybody going crazy over that. Then you got the dude who admits on his deathbed that he killed Bob Marley. You got that story floating up out of there. Now, it sounds very detailed. I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he didn't do it. I don't know if they told him to do it. Maybe it was his final mission to say, this is the last thing that you have to do. You have to admit that you killed Bob Marley, and that's going to be a distraction.
I mean, it could be that. It could be that. It could be where niggas just wait until they getting ready to die to say, this is what I did. What else you gonna do to me? I'm already dead. I'm already dying. You know what I mean?
But
it could be that, and it could be exactly what you said. It could be them niggas saying, oh, you need to say that you did this even though you didn't, because we got some other stuff that we got going on and we can't have people knows in that.
Or maybe he did do it and they just told him that you are needing to admit this,
so we can go ahead and cover up this other situation that we got going on.
Right.
I mean, that could be true too. It just seems to me, and I don't know if anybody else see it like this. Maybe it's just me, but to me, it just seems like the issues that we have in the world take the personality of the presidents that we have. We have a president who is he's very boisterous, he's very cocky, he's very arrogant. And we have a president who is always in some type of drama, whether it was his TV show, The Apprentice, or whether it was him making statements about this, or him and his many, marriages and divorces and all the other kind of stuff. But he's always been like one of those type of people who's all about the drama, so to speak. And it doesn't surprise me that we have a president that's like this. And then all of these issues with Hollywood come out. It just seems to me like the presidents that we have, it typically, it kind of ties to the problems that we have in the country. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, when Barack Obama was in office, we had the whole gay rights agenda pushing. Then we had all the situations where, like, we've always had these situations that just seem more apparent. Does that make any sense? Like, the people that we serve, the people that allegedly serves us as a president, allegedly. It seems like it ties to the issues that we have while they're in office or while they're serving their term. Like Bill Clinton, Everybody always knew that Bill Clinton had hoes, and then what comes out? The whole Monica Lewinsky scandal. And then it seems like everybody and their uncle, cousin, mama, brother, whether it was senator, mayor, or whatever, was getting in some type of hot water or stepping down because they were caught cheating or something stupid like that. And then you got Barack Obama who say he ain't Muslim, but he is Muslim, and he may not be Muslim. And then we had all the issues with like Muslims and Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, you know what I mean? And then here we got Trump, and it's like he's always been one of those people, got them Twitter fingers going, always in on the drama, and here it is, we got all this stuff pulling up out of Hollywood and this and that, and all of that shaped from the personalities of the presidents that allegedly serve our country. You know what I mean? Allegedly. But I do believe that it's all cover-up. It's just my opinion. It's cover-up. But go ahead. What are your thoughts, David?
Well, I don't know. And when I don't know something, I like to keep an open mind and look at it from all perspectives.
True.
What I do, I'm an Aquarius, so I can do that. February 3rd, if y'all want to give me some birthday presents. But anyways, I think it could be another multi-layered, multi-tiered issue.
Correct.
Because when you really start breaking it down, and there's another documentary, I bet y'all are like, man, you never always watching documentaries. I am. I either watch
Ain't no much.
So there's a 3.5 hour documentary on YouTube. It's called Rich Man's Trick, Everything from JFK to 9/11. It chronicles all of these so-called scandals and what went on, like JFK. It was a concerted effort by the mafia and the U.S. government and I think the Teamsters to team up and kill JFK. So it wasn't just the nigga on the lawn in the grassy knoll. Lee Harvey Oswald, no. And they actually break it down and show you how complex his assassination was. There was multiple gunmen, including one in the sewer. So
Wow.
it's like the system of white supremacy. I equate the system of white supremacy to being in a room with multiple things happening at one time. And what I mean by that is, if you're in a room and there's 10 people in a room, all 10 people are doing 10 different things. Whether we're talking to each other or we're not, 10 different people are doing 10 different things. So the system of supremacy, you have police brutality, you have the racist hate groups, you have like institutionalized racism as far as jobs, you have mass incarceration, you got lack of jobs and resources, which kind of goes along with the institution, housing, and all of these things are going on in the system of white supremacy at once. It's warfare. Warfare just is not like, hey, we fighting head on. Warfare is, I got this army fighting you head on. I got a cavalry over here. I got an Air Force over there. I got my second wave of troops back there. I got infantry officers over here. It's multiple things going on at one time. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as the conspiracies, it's probably multiple things going on at one time. I feel
I agree.
that they could have gave that man one last mission. This is what you got to do. You got to own up to some stuff 40 years later as a distraction. But then sometimes I feel that the conscience can get the best of you. I believe that the dude who was trying to speak out, and he was an officer, I don't have his name on record right now, but he was the officer, and apparently the white man was trying to speak out against the death of Sandra Bland. He wrote up the reports that said that didn't happen the way they claimed it happened and all this, that, and the third, and he got silenced, and he came out and he spoke his truth. It's just like, dude, it's a black officer and I think he was like 2 days away from trial, from the Walter Scott trial. He was supposed to testify. He mysteriously gets killed. So I think it's a lot of things. I think, yes, some people are compelled to tell the truth. Some people are afraid of the consequences. Some people, I feel, it could just be a mission. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I really don't know. I can't say. It's one of those things where, you kind of say I can neither confirm nor deny. But one thing I did want to do, because I remembered, I want to go back to this music appreciation situation.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that does trouble me is the fact that we don't give credit to those who have put in the work. There are artists, and I don't care if people say exposure or not, there are artists like Krs-One who have been trying to wake us up from from the beginning. There's been people like, X-Clan, Lord Jamar, Brand Nubian, A Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul. You had all these groups coming up in the 90s. And yeah, some of them fell off, but there's still people who still have their notoriety. Like Nas still has notoriety in the industry. Common is one of those who has notoriety. Krs-One is a master teacher. He will always have notoriety in the hip-hop community. Now, although that stuff with Afrika Bambaataa and the sexual assaults, defending him was a little questionable, but I'm sure he had his reasons.
Yeah.
It's not for me to go in because, still, regardless of what Bam did, he's still hip-hop. He's still hip-hop. And I think one of the things that we do is vilify those who make mistakes and want to kick them out of the culture. You can't deny Afrika Bambaataa's imprint in the hip-hop culture.
You would have to be a fool to do something like that. Afrika Bambaataa was very influential. He's definitely one of the top 10 names that's going to come up when it comes up to naming artists who was that influential. You just can't.
Right. But now, here come Jay-Z, and no disrespect to Jay-Z, I'm a fan of Jay-Z. Not a huge fan, but, there are some songs that I love, like Heart of the City, Renegade with Eminem,
yes,
Roses with Lenny Kravitz, Encore from the Black Album. Encore is one of my favorites. It might be, if not the number one Jay-Z song that I love so much because it's one of those songs that evokes those type of emotions. When the music come on, he got the horns.
Hey, come on, boy.
And then the nigga lead the stage, and he got the dude on stage. He got the hype man. Everybody say, "Hova, Hova, y'all out there, Hova, Hova." The next day, you in the motherfucking car jamming, Hova, 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 Hova. Then the nigga come back on the stage, and this here's the victory lap, and I'm leaning in, so y'all getting me back. Man, that nigga, hey, I love Jay-Z. No disrespect to Jay-Z. Fucking love Jay-Z. 444 was trash. And to me is how this nigga came out, called a song called The Story of OJ, which it wasn't even about OJ, but okay, whatever. Name it whatever you want to name it. And he comes out, it's like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. House nigga, field nigga, rich nigga, poor nigga, still nigga. I get it. That's catchy. You know why? The Jews own everything. Credit. And why don't you take your drug money and buy some property in the hood and wash it? bruh,
Hmm?
you didn't say anything substantial. He didn't
Not at all.
say
That's
anything
stuff people been saying for
substantial.
years.
I bought a panty for $2 million. 3 years later, shit's for $4 million. 10 years later, it's worth $10 million. Like, stop. First of all, who the hell are your listeners gonna have money for art? And second of all, art is a long-term investment. Art
Mm-hmm.
appreciates over time if it's good. And how do you even know that this particular art piece is gonna appreciate over time? Like, art is something that you have to keep 40, 50, 60 years later in order for it to be valuable. It's just like most artists' catalogs don't go up until they die. Like Michael Jackson, Prince, James Brown, everybody catalog. Whitney Houston goes up when they die.
True.
Why is it that everybody jumped on the bandwagon like Jay did or said anything substantial? Like, my nigga, you are on the down slope of your career, and again, this is no disrespect to Jay, but in his mid-40s, he's on the down slope of his career. Jay-Z might retire tomorrow and never come out with another album in his life and raise his kids. Some people say better late than never. I say
Right.
better never than late. I feel the only why he and Beyonce both are doing all of this pro-black Oshun rah-rah shit is because it's popular. Now that the conscious movement has kind of started to resurface, and you
Yeah.
got people like Kendrick and J. Cole and all of these, you know, you got a Chance the Rapper, you know, you got all these people starting to come back up. I feel like he's doing it strictly for selfish reasons. Like, my thing is, if you're not going to do it for the love of the people, don't do it at all. And again, you didn't say anything substantial, but everybody wanted to give the credit to Jay-Z. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. Yay, Jay-Z. Oh my God. Oh, he speaks so well. Oh my God.
Right.
Fuck out of here. And then when somebody like me or Michael Rappaport, for instance, leaves an opinion, oh, he don't have no business in the culture. 444 wasn't for him. Anytime somebody talks about empowering a black man, the white man gets mad. No. Michael Rappaport is
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
top as anybody else. Michael
Yes, it
Rappaport
is. Yes,
has
he is.
earned his place in the house of hip-hop.
Yes, he has.
It ain't got nothing to do with it. How about 444 was not all that good, but because he came out and made a few little songs about him cheating on Beyonce and how OJ ain't black and you still a nigga, y'all motherfuckers lost your mind instead of giving the credit to the real people who deserve it.
I agree.
That irks
I agree.
my soul. And that it reminds me of a line Too Short had, and I think it was the Shorty the Pimp album. I think it was the first, like the second track or whatever. And he makes reference to he hates how rappers used up all the James Brown beats and didn't pay that man.
Yep.
Give credit where credit is due. And again, hip-hop is based off of the 60s, 70s, and 80s R&B soul music, the funk, funkadelic, all of them. It's what Grandpa Cass says. He says hip-hop didn't invent anything, but it reinvented everything.
I agree.
Hip-hop was born out of our parents' generations. My dad and mom is 61. It was born out of their generation. My grandparents' generation, the Johnny Taylor, the blues, ZZ Top, not ZZ Hill, and I mean, even if you look at Heart of the City, That's Bobby Blue Bland. Jay-Z's Heart of the City is Bobby Blue
Yep.
Bland. Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Ain't no love in the heart of town. That
Yeah.
is one of my favorite blues artists. So again, give credit where credit is due.
Don't just take somebody's stuff and don't give them no type of notoriety for it at all. You ain't even paying the people, let alone give them notoriety
Right.
for what's what.
Just because Jay-Z came out and said a few nice words, you niggas lost your mind. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, because it's Jay-Z.
Look at
Because it's Jay-Z.
Meghan Markle. She don't identify as black. She has written a whole essay about how she questions who she is. She identifies as being gray. She doesn't know if she's black or white. Da 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 da. And here you go, black girl magic, black princess. Yeah.
Look,
Oh my God, we got
check
a
this out.
princess girl. Girl, we got a black princess. We's winning. Bye. You can't tell me nothing.
Not a
bye.
weed.
We got a black princess. You can't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear that.
Not a weed.
How?
Not a weed.
First of all, how is her situation benefiting you? How is her situation benefiting you? How? Please tell me.
Way. You ain't got all the answers. On the Kanye West side of the game.
None. Again, why are you giving credit to somebody who doesn't deserve it? And then she's marrying a whole racist.
Check this out.
Was at parties and everything, and even and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you have your piece, Rebecca. She's marrying into the family who sanctioned legal slave trade. The motherfuckers own your ancestors, and you gonna marry that dude?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Please, Rebecca. Please.
You gonna do the way your hair after that. I can't wait till we get some visuals. This is gonna be. So check this out.
If all the signs point to you and say that's a dead end, it's a cliff, and you still doing 100 miles an hour towards the cliff, you deserve to die. I'm just gonna.
I agree.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
So check this out. So she came out.
No further question.
Right?
And they say, and I'm out. And that's from the heart.
Shut up. Once again, shout out to Dave Chappelle.
Charlie Murphy.
Shut up. She did this interview. She did this interview where she was just like, she said that she was in class. She had a white teacher. She had to take a test. And on the test, it marked it marked Hispanic, non-black, Latino, and Caucasian. And it had black and white on it. So she said that she had to identify who she was. She said she was confused because she stated that she wasn't sure which one she should put because she's both black and white. She's multiracial, right? She said the teacher walked up to her and said that she needed to pick Caucasian. When she asked the teacher why, the teacher said, because you look more Caucasian than you do black. So she went home. She was with her parents. Somebody called her mom a nigger. Because her mom was very dark skinned. Somebody called her mom a nigger. Yeah. And she got upset, but she said she was so mad she didn't say anything. Her mother started crying. She just told her mom it was going to be okay. She got home, told her dad about what happened at school, and then her dad basically told her, don't subscribe to any label. So that's why she don't say that, oh, I'm black, or I have, this and that. She just says that I'm multiracial. I'm both. Because she said she felt like if she chose black, then she's denying her white parent. If she chose white, she's denying her black parent. So she doesn't come out and say, well, I'm black. She just says, I'm multiracial. I just feel like this. I looked at some of her photos when she was younger. and I looked at some of her photos when she was in high school, she looked like a nigga. I mean, I'm sorry, she looked black, whatever. If we want to be socially, politically correct, whatever. She looked black. When she got older, to me, is when she started to look more white. I feel like due to whatever circumstances or chances that she's had, I just don't see Prince Henry with a darker skinned black woman on his arm. I'm not saying that is not a possibility.
No, there is no possibility. No.
I'm not saying that.
No possibility.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that she's less black because of that. No. I'm not even a shade on her. If you dumb enough to be with somebody who owns your ancestors, then I'm just saying don't be surprised if he tell you, okay, man, me go in there and put on that apron and serve my white company. Or come on, nigga, we one nigga short. We need you out there in our cotton fields. Don't get mad when he asks you to do that. That's how I feel about it.
They cousins too. I just want to throw that out there. They cousins.
That's disgusting. And that's even more worse. But it doesn't surprise me that they are cousins, considering that slave owners back in the day, well, slave owners were sleeping and raping their women. They were sleeping and raping the women that they owned. So it doesn't surprise me that they're cousins. So now he owns your family and your family.
That's correct.
You trifling. But I say all that to say this. If you gonna say, oh, well, I don't want to have to use labels and I shouldn't be labeled and I shouldn't have to subscribe to labels.
Like I'm OJ.
I'm just stupid. I'm just trying to figure out how the black community is identifying that as black girl magic. No one has yet to be able to explain that to me, and I would love to hear it. So if there's anybody in the comments below that has a great explanation to that without being ignorant and combative, and do what you're going to do, but still, I really want to know an explanation as to why we feel like just because she's half black, that means she's black, but she doesn't claim to even be black. She barely says she's multiracial. She deals more with her white side than she does her black side, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, how does that count as black girl magic? She's done nothing for the black community. None at all. None whatsoever. If slavery came back, that bitch would not be on the field with us. She would be in the house.
Oh, yeah, she would, because she's already married a white man before. And she got divorced. And so she likes white men, obviously. But probably puts white on her ID. I'm pretty sure she does. I could be wrong. But, you know, it's one of those things where Tiger thought that he didn't have to subscribe to labels either. I'm not black, I'm Caucasian. And when Tiger got arrested a couple months ago, it wasn't no Caucasian, nigga, you black.
And your sponsors, you black.
No, OJ. You shouldn't say, I'm not OJ, I'm black, nigga. Because that's exactly what they're going to write on your paperwork when they arrest your ass, OJ. Now, speaking of OJ, and then we're going to move on.
Mm-hmm.
OJ, are you really going to sit up here and continue to mess with these white women?
He had another white woman?
That nigga got out of jail messing with white women.
Can't help who he is. Never mind.
I get it. You like what you like, man, but Jesus Christ, OJ. You really? And I mean, hey, I guess the white girls like him, but don't be surprised if you wind up back up in jail.
At all. No, be like, I can't believe this happened to me again.
If I had raped a white girl, this is the way I would have done it.
If I had if I had done it side of the game, I'm done.
Right. If I had raped that white girl, this is the way I would have done it. They're gonna be like, aha, guilty. The nigga admitted guilt, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the coon train has arrived at the station. And it's picked up its number one benefactor,
Okay.
Steve Harvey. Well, no, hold up.
No. Okay.
Steve Harvey and Oprah and Stephen A. Smith have the greatest vested interest in the coon train. I'm just going to put that out there like that. So, Steve, Mr. High and Mighty Harvey, recently accused, I think there's a lawsuit out for him, his non-profit organization, like giving money or embezzling money or something. I don't have the story on me.
I believe I saved it. Go ahead, keep talking.
So apparently, Steve Harvey, not Stephen A. Smith. Apparently, Steve Harvey has some accusations coming against him, and they probably true because the first thing he tried to do was try to throw Tyler Perry and Oprah under the bus. Like, if you're gonna take the coon train, my nigga, quit trying to throw other coons under the bus who ain't have nothing to do with nothing, bruh. Take your punishment like a man, Steve. You know, your wife, Marjorie, cocaine, kingpin, queenpin, Harvey, has done some very shady stuff in the past, including messing with two dope dealing rock star brothers, which is really ratchet in and of itself. Like, your husband go to jail and then you start messing with his brother. And then when he went to jail, you started messing with Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey has been caught up in a whole whirlwind of mess. And now he wants to throw Oprah and Tyler Perry under the coon train tracks too. Now.
And I have a story.
Great. Now, that is not excusing Oprah. In a completely separate situation, Oprah sold majority ownership of the formerly Oprah Winfrey Network. Speak on it, Rebecca. Pull up the
Yes, she did.
Pull up the car facts.
All right. Not Kate said you. Not the car facts, David.
Pull up the cool.
All right. I am going to also pull up the one for OWN as well, so we can have both of those prepared. That's that, and that's the one I read on USA Today. So while that is loading, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Coon Harvey. Sorry, Steve Harvey. Now, Steve Harvey, blah, blah, blah. Steve Harvey, he's being sued by a man who claims the TV mogul stiffed him of commissions he agreed to pay for raising $1 million for his charity. He also claims the television host made some disparaging comments about three of Hollywood pop culture's most treasured figures. According to TMZ, Vincent DeMock acclaimed Harvey hired him in April 2017 to raise $20 million for the Steve and Marjorie Foundation, and for his services, he was promised 12.5% of everything he bought in. In the suit, DeMock says he had direct access to high-level executives, A-list entertainers, and political figures, including a former president, allowing him to rally enough pledges to gather $20 million. He claimed, however, that after he delivered the first million, the comedian refused to pay him his commission, with him later adding the mogul never even intended to pay him in the first place. This leads to various allegations the mock made are related to the job thereafter. He said that during a meeting with an investor whom he introduced Harvey to in May, the talk show host made sexist comments about women, blamed Oprah and Tyler Perry for providing him with bad financial advice, and even labeled President Barack Obama as being responsible for his disastrous meeting with Donald Trump. He also added that Steve and Marjorie Foundation was in terrible financial standing as a result of several PR blunders delivered by the actor comic himself, including him mocking Asian men and his non-infamous meeting with Trump. Harvey's agent Todd Frank has responded to DeMock's claim via TMZ, saying, "It sounds fake. Steve is the most loyal guy in the world. I've never been stiffed on a commission from Steve Harvey in 21 years." And that's the end of the Steve Harvey mess. What are your thoughts, David?
My thoughts, I don't know if I can express my thoughts as my facial expression. Let me try.
Cocaine Marjorie Harvey.
Nigga, I need the Rock eyebrow on that one. I just need the Rock to come in and just put his eyebrow
Can I do it?
all the way up. Huh?
I'm really trying.
I'm trying. I can't do it like he can, but I just need the Rock to come in and just raise his eyebrow because this nigga said that Steve Harvey is the most loyal person he's ever known. Did he not fire his entire Chicago staff to go to?
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even like advance notice. It was on the notice.
But isn't this the same man who doesn't want his staff talking to him while he is in his dressing room? Isn't the same man who shitted on Corey Holcomb and told him that he need to change who he is because Steve Harvey feels that is appropriate? Ain't this the same man who shitted on Bernie Mac, Bernie McCullough, someone who's supposed to be your friend and fellow king of comedy? Did you shit on him? And you mean to tell me that Steve Harvey has never betrayed anybody? Rock eyebrow one time.
I can't do it, bro. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
I can't do it, but come on. I just need the Rock to come in and just raise that eyebrow. Like,
yeah, man.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that Steve Harvey is a Rudy Poo candy ass.
Not Rudy Poo. Wow. Old school with it, didn't you?
Baby left him. He did find a place to dwell. But down at the end of Jabroni Drive and smack down
Did you say Jabroni Drive? So done with you. Did you just say Jabroni Drive, bro?
Yes, man. Yeah, as y'all could tell, I am a huge wrestling fan from back in the day. Not the new stuff. Not the new stuff. The new stuff, I don't watch the new stuff, but like 2000, I want to say like 2003, 2004, and below, I am a fan of all the old wrestling. So I just wanted to put that out there. But I think someone needs to lay the smack down on your boy Steve Harvey.
You know it was.
Right. If you smell, Rock is cooking. Boom, 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 Stone Cold. You hear that bread breaker, that glass.
Love Stone Cold. I follow him on Facebook. Yes, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So Coon Steve Harvey got a coon that coons for him. Steve Harvey has been the most loyal person ever. Right. I don't believe that. I believe he's getting sued, and I believe Steve Harvey's an asshole. I believe that Steve Harvey does things. Huh?
I believe he's going to probably settle out of court. Just pay the man his little 12.5%. As much money as you and Marjorie Harvey done embezzled and did all kind of stupid stuff with, bruh, you can afford to pay this 12.5%. I'm sorry.
I don't give a damn about slavery.
You allegedly.
Oh, no, that's not allegedly. A damn about slavery. That's what Steve said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
In front of white Millions of white people. See, he don't give a damn about slavery. Sorry, the rest of us do. I'm sorry.
He said it was a.
Speak for us.
He said it was a joke. Now.
We, the black delegation, would like Steve Harvey for nobody. We don't need nobody. We just gonna give it to the white. We, the black delegation, give Steve Harvey to the white delegation.
For free.
Yeah, you can have Steve for free. You can have him for free. Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and pay them bands up. But do I believe that Steve Harvey is innocent? No. No, I'm surprised that his cast in Chicago didn't sue him. Like, can't you class action lawsuit or something? Like, lost wages? Like, because it was just out of the blue. Like, hey, niggas, I'm moving to L.A. Deuces.
I mean, the thing with the class action lawsuits, though, is that they take so long. And with class action lawsuits, it's a joke because what happens is you get that information in the mail, the attorneys go into court, and yeah, the people are being sued for millions of dollars, but the attorneys is getting most of that money. The attorneys is the ones that's getting the millions, and then the rest of what's left is split up between everybody else. So yeah, it's a joke. If they gonna sue, they need to sue individual for lost wages and stuff like that, like contract fulfillment obligations, if there was any, to a standpoint of like if he didn't fulfill the obligation that he stated that he would during their contract and employment termination and all that, they need to look into that more. So, you know what I mean?
Okay, I feel that. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm just surprised that there hasn't been more lawsuits. Like, based off of what I've heard from people who actually have known Steve Harvey, I'm surprised there hasn't been more lawsuits. But
so am I.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, now did you want to read that? Did you want to go ahead and start talking about it?
I got it because I got it pulled up on the National, and I'm not going to read all of this. It doesn't matter. We don't have to read all of this bull crap.
Okay.
It's not important. But I will read to you the bits that are important so you have a general understanding of what it is. Discovery Communications. We'll use my white girl voice here. Discovery Communications.
No.
What? U.S. $17 million to Oprah Winfrey's Harpo to obtain a majority stake in their joint channel. Making my way downtown, Terry Crews.
All right.
You mean to tell me that you are a man not white? Oh, the tragedy.
Betty.
I feel so betrayed. Hey, look, I like Terry Crews, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on Terry Crews. I like Terry Crews. I think he's funny. But I do think that you do a lot of suspect gay shit to keep that paper. So, Discovery lifted its holding on OWN to 70% from about 45%. Oprah Winfrey will remain chief executive, according to the statement last week, which will extend her exclusive commitment to the channel through 2025. So basically, she's a slave to her own channel, okay? It's the first time she sold stock in the network since it started a decade ago. Winfrey will retain a significant majority interest in OWN, which was founded as a joint venture between the TV billionaire personality and Silver Spring, Maryland-based Discovery. Winfrey is worth $3.7 billion according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. OWN, which has been increasing in original scripted programming, is part of a Discovery lineup that includes TLC and Animal Planet. The deal will allow Discovery, one of billion John Malone's key holdings, to report OWN operations as part of its consolidated financial results. OWN began airing in 2008 and lost as much as $330 million in its first 4 years, Bloomberg has reported. It reported its first quarterly profit in 2013. And so basically the OWN network is majority owned by this Discovery network, And Oprah is a contractual slave to the OWN network until 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Oprah has enough money
Mm-hmm.
to sell stock in your company to give your stuff to the white man. Do you desire to give stuff to white people that bad, Oprah? You could just hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
You're already a billionaire. That's more money than you can spend in your lifetime. You don't have nobody to pass it on to. Stedman's finna die in a couple more years. You can't pass it on to him. She ain't got no kids. Come on, man.
Really?
I'm telling the truth. Stedman getting up there. I'm sorry, Stedman. I hope you live a long and prosperous life, brother, but you on the downhill slope. You ain't got but another 2 more years to live, and then Stedman gonna die. So Oprah ain't got nobody to leave her money to, so I'm just trying to figure out what is the purpose of selling OWN. I'm just trying to figure it
Cannot.
out. And then they try to make it seem like she's still majority owner. Like, no, she's not.
She's still the president and CEO, and I'm like,
She's a
it doesn't
contractual
matter.
slave.
Right. It doesn't matter. Like, and then if you were going to sell anything, why not sell it to your community? What are your thoughts about that, David?
Oprah is not allowed to do that. Yeah,
Okay.
Massa will not allow you to do that, which is why she can build a school over in Africa. And don't get me wrong, there needs to be schools in Africa. Is it an Afro-centered school? Probably not. But it's a school. But you're going to build a school on the west side of Chicago, are you, Oprah? You ain't going to build a school
Yeah,
in Chicago, are you, Oprah?
man.
Build a school on the south side of Chicago.
Nigger, we didn't tell you to do that.
Matter of fact, they ain't gonna knock on the door. As soon as they find out she's thinking about opening up a school on the south side of Chicago. Hello, this is Oprah. Yes. The fuck are you doing? Well, I just thought it'd be great to build a school. No schools in the south side of Chicago. We will let you build one in Africa. But I want to build one in the south side of Chicago. It doesn't matter where you want to build your school. Click on the rock side of the game. I want to build a school on the south side of Chicago. She could tell her handlers that I want to build a school on the south side of Chicago for black people, and they're going to tell you, it doesn't matter where you want to build your school at. We'll let you build a school in Africa. We will allow you to build a school in Africa. And it ain't but one school at that. You a billionaire, Oprah. How many schools you could have opened in Africa by now? You opened one. They love you, sure, they love you. But what else are you doing? Oprah, I feel, is one of those people who has always hated who she was. So in order to validate herself, she has to go through the white supremacists. She has to. And then you sold. I mean, first of all, find out the OWN network wasn't entirely the OWN network. As I originally thought, Discovery had a nice chunk in the OWN network because they were joint partners. Now she sold the rest of the stock to them, and well, she's still majority owner, and she's obligated to stick around until 2025. And they did that so that it can save face, and it can seem like Oprah just gonna get tired in 8 more years and just step down from the position. But Oprah no longer owns the OWN network. It should be called the Phone Network. FOWN. Formerly on the
Stupid.
Winfrey Network. Speak on it.
Mm-hmm.
Go in, Becky. What do you think?
I just think it's sad at the fact that she decided to do this. Like, I don't, and I'll never understand why. I just, I don't understand. Did you really, maybe it's some things behind the scenes, financially, we may not know about, but it's like, come on, man. Like, did you really, the only question that I continue to have is, why did you not sell it to the white community? I mean, why did you not sell it to the black community? Why did you sell it to somebody who already had ownership in it? Like, it's just sad, but I guess she sold it to who owner?
Yeah. Well, we quit again, give up everything. Gave it all up for integration. All the hospitals, all the schools, all the churches, all the businesses, all of the black love, gave it all up for integration.
Yep.
Let me see. Well, I think we are going on hour and a half. This might actually be a short one today. The only that I actually have left on the list is that situation with Lewis, unless you have something else that you would like to discuss besides that.
That situation is enough in itself.
So explain to the people what is going on with your friend Lewis.
Well, long story short, he's just one of the black men out here, of course. I'm not going to give a whole backstory because I don't feel like doing all that, but he has about 3 baby mamas, 5 kids. Hold on, 2, 4, 5. Yes, 5 kids. 3 baby mamas. 2 of them are white. 1 of them is black. Well, the second baby mama, he was living out here in Indiana with her. She went to jail. He kind of held everything down until she got out for whatever reason. They lost their place. And then they moved to St. Louis, where they lived in a shelter for a little while. And from what he informed me was that they got into an argument a few weeks later. She told him to leave. He left. He came back because he was meeting a homeboy down there one day. She got upset because she needed a break and wanted him to watch the kids. He refused to do so because he said, you told me to leave and I'm not going to come back when it's convenient for you, blah, blah, blah. She got mad, called the police, and then tried to say that he molested her oldest daughter, which was 7 years old at the time. And this is a brother I've been knowing since the age of 14. He's been around all of my family's children, everybody's kids, never had any issues, never been suspected of nothing. Kids ain't never said nothing about him. All the kids loved him. And this is the first time that somebody has ever accused him of anything like this out of the 35 years he's been on this earth. Now, she recently contacted me and stated that when she was in jail, allegedly it happened when she was in jail. When she got out of jail, basically what he told me was true as far as them leaving. And then she said that 2 weeks later, the guy that was babysitting the girls for him while he was in jail, was the one that said he put his hands down his daughter's pants. And this was after he had called her looking for money because he said that my friend owed him some money for babysitting the girl. She said she didn't have it. She didn't know where he was. And then he goes to tell her, well, I need to tell you something about him. He put his hands down your daughter's pants. Now, then she decided to wait a month and a half later when they got into that argument. So you stayed with him for a month and a half, waited until you got into an argument with him because he would not watch the kids for you because you needed a break, which she did confirm. That's what it was. He would not watch the kids for you, so you got angry, called the police, and said that he sexually molested your daughter while you were in prison in Indiana. She said that St. STL PD would not pick up the case because they said it was outside of his jurisdiction, and after that, he has not seen or heard from her since then. He got arrested in November in Missouri, and then now he is currently in Indiana awaiting trial, which is February the 9th. And I will be there to testify on his behalf because she's a lying bitch. I'm sorry. That pisses me off. But go ahead, I'm sorry. But that's pretty much the situation. That's the situation that's going on. That's the situation that's going on with him. I just feel like it's one of those things where he was warned about this girl when we were younger. This is the same chick who was with his baby mama. Was with his wife. He doesn't have kids by his wife. The same chick where the wife called the baby mama for them to move in together, and she devised the plan to try to drive him into a crazy house. So she stated. She said that her and the baby mama devised the plan for them to be driven into a crazy house. And that when that fell through, she realized that the wife had her own plan. Her plan was to use the baby mama's daughter to get him to come back home to be with her. And then she was going to kick the baby mama out the house. But since Lewis was not leaving, because he was living with my family, since he was not leaving, she kicked the baby mama out, took her car, and left her and her kids homeless with nowhere to stay and no food. This is the same chick that lied and said that, this is the same chick that reported something that she was not there to verify. So that's that.
And what color are these baby mamas?
The baby mama who did all this mess is white. She does not have custody of any of her children because she is non-compliant in court. I can't say where I got that information from, but she's non-compliant in court. She will not take her mandatory drug test as they have asked her to do for the last 9 months. She does not see her children, and she literally gave her kids one of her children a mental complex, which she has gotten better. She's gotten a lot better. She's actually almost done with her with her behavioral therapist. She's actually almost out of therapy to where she's not having any behavioral problems at all. Her oldest son does not speak with her, and her second to the oldest son will not talk to her, and that's the son that he was the closest to because he feels like it's his mom's fault that his brothers and his sisters are not together, and all of the nonsense that she started to separate Lewis from them and to separate their family. So he will not have no dealings with this chick at all. So yeah, she's white and the wife is white too. Lewis is black.
And all the women that he messed with white?
All of them except for his first baby mama. Now, baby mama number 3, she's white too. But I don't have any issues out of her. She's the one that's actually giving me the information in regards to like letting me know that, he was in jail and letting me know everything that was going on. And the lady that he was staying with when he got arrested, she's white as well.
So we know that there are good white people in the world. So when we do this stuff, people, we know there are good white people in the world. But this trifling heifer, baby mama number 2, right? Baby mama number 2.
Yes, it is.
You know what? The difference between a black baby mama and a white disgruntled baby mama. A lot of jail time you can get.
Nah, yeah. That's true.
White disgruntled baby mama, they gonna throw the book at you. How dare you not take care of your half-black child?
Mm-hmm.
How dare, and it's not even really about that, it's more about how dare you sleep with our women?
Mm-hmm.
15 years for some child support. You'd be like, what? How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it is a messed up situation. I think this is a wake-up call.
Yes, it is.
Him and other folk. There's nothing wrong with dating outside of your skin color demographic. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But
Okay.
be careful who you sleep with. Be careful who you bond with. Be careful who you share information with, especially when it comes to relationships and dating. And this could have happened to anybody. It could have been black on black, white on black, black on white. You never know. But
Yeah.
again, this goes back to accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your accountability for sleeping with the raggedy heifer, even after all of your friends told you that was a bad idea?
Mm-hmm.
She put some of that white girl hoodoo on you, came running, and then the fact that you just like OJ, my nigga. Like, I see him as a younger version of OJ. You just can't help it. It ain't even so much the fact that you mess with white women. You messing with the wrong white women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you say the last one's pretty cool. You don't have no...
The last one is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you mess with the wrong type of individuals. What's the reason why you in this mess? I mean, I feel for him. I hope this is a wake-up call. I hope it is a long-learned life lesson for him. Like, be more careful who you associate yourself with. You gotta be more careful.
I agree.
You got jail time for something that you didn't do. Because she mad, because you don't want to fuck with her,
Mm-hmm.
because she white, she could get away with not taking a drug test, not showing support, not taking care of her kids. If that was a black mother, they'd be like, oh, well, I see, Watermelon Andrea, that you have 6 kids that don't stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at over your paperwork. You've been in and out of jail. You have a record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't believe you. The white girl sounds like she could possibly have a rap sheet. She probably do acting like that. She probably got a rap sheet. But all of that gets thrown out the window because she's white. So now you stuck in a position to where you behind bars for the poor decisions that you made. I'm not saying what she did is right, absolutely is wrong. But based off of the poor decisions that he made is the reason why he's in this position. And I hope that this is the last time that this happens. Because it comes to a certain point, like my father always used to say, it comes a point in time where you either gotta fish or cut bait. Which basically means, and it's a fishing metaphor, basically it means that you can be in this spot and you can try to catch something in this spot, but most likely, if you're already coming to this crossroads of whether you should leave or whether you should stay, you've already been here too long and ain't caught nothing. So it comes a point in time, if you fishing and you don't catch nothing, you got to pick up your line and you got to go somewhere else. Fish. Sometimes you got to cut your losses and go find somewhere else to fish.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way with people. If you're not on what I'm on, if you're not on this nation building, if you're not trying to build black business, if you're not trying to educate yourself, and you're not trying to change, I am not going to continue to hang around you because you're detrimental to yourself. One, as a friend, I don't want to see you like that. And I've had friends just like Lewis, just different situations. One guy was older, and he's the one that had the crazy wife who would hide knives and stuff around the house, and then her ex-husband ran off with her sister. She had issues about that, and then she had like one daughter who went to college and is doing really good. Then I think she had another daughter who was like a stripper. I don't think she was that good of a stripper or something. So she ended up retired and cashing out her 401k and sent it all to her daughter and forced her to go back to work, and it was this whole thing. And she like one of the people who go to church and like everything sweet and sunny, and then before you know it, like she'll flip and be like a whole Jekyll and Hyde type person. I used to get up out of my bed early in the morning, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, because this dude got drunk because his wife ain't picked him up like she was supposed to, and instead of going home, he decided to stay out and get drunk until after the bus leaves, and then you calling me, and that's when I won't leave my friend stranded, but you will get a nice talking to. And oh, I know, dog, I know, man, I just love her. Like, well, I understand, but you got to do what's best for you. That situation is not best for you right now. Not at all.
Yeah.
Told him what to do, gave him advice. Now, mind you, this is my senior, so I already feel like I should not be giving you advice. You should be giving me advice. And this man was at least 15 years my senior. Probably more than that, probably close to 20 years my senior. Yeah. But he didn't listen, and everything I told him not to do, he did. And everything I told him to do, he didn't do. And last I heard, he had moved in with his brother and sister, well, his sister and her husband, or something like that. I think it was a sister. But basically, you kind of like namaste. You in your 40s, living in somebody else's house with no really stable job. Like, he went from being a supervisor, a housekeeping supervisor at Express Scripts, to saying that he might get this job at Taco Bell, and he seemed happy about it. Oh, man, I could get this job at Taco Bell. Nigga, you too old to be working at Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's not something you want to make a career out of.
Unless you a manager, my nigga. Unless you a manager and working your way up to store manager or something, general manager, regional manager, something, or take that managerial skills and go to another restaurant.
True. But yeah, not just to be flip burgers, mopping floors, and all that crazy.
But you have, and I cut him off. I hadn't talked to him since that day. Hadn't talked to him. Another dude. Anyways, it's late, y'all. It's 10:15 p.m. You know, Becky decided that she wanted to have book club today.
Look.
We
It's
started late. But anyways, that has nothing to do with this. Had another dude, and we still cool. I talk to him from time to time, but he another one of them cats that I had to kind of start fucking with. Because I met the brother, he was working out in Fenton. I was working out in Fenton. We used to catch the bus. We talked a couple times. He needed a place to stay. I let him stay at my house. Kim came down a weekend. I told him he had to vacate. He didn't come back until like Wednesday. Kim left Monday. He didn't come back till like Wednesday. I was like, oh, okay, he must have got back with his wife. That's cool. That's cool. And I was like, oh, I finally seen him. I was like, hey, you must be getting back with your wife. Yeah, man. And we all good. We reconcile and da-da-da. Okay, I wish the best for you. I really do. Hey, I'm glad you and your old lady back together. Man, I do God and prayer and da-da-da-da, and everything gonna work out. All right, bro. I hope you're right. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, he got put out the house. So right after New Year's, he got put out. Got all the bills caught up. Got all the way through Christmas, and then New Year's, she put you out the house.
Right, you spent all that money.
Right. When I told him, hey, man, you need to... Because we was talking about getting a place together. We were talking about getting a 2-bedroom and just splitting the cost, and I was down with it. I was like, all for it. I was like, cool. But then when me and Kim hooked up, and she was talking about moving down here, I'm like, well, fuck it, I'd rather do the family thing. And, you know, you can't be mad because it's the natural thing to do. Do I want a room with another man, or would I rather share a house with 2 women?
True.
Rather share the house with 2 women, my nigga. That's just the way the game goes. It is the natural thing to do. So... But I basically gave him the same advice that I gave the other dude. Hey, man, work on yourself, get yourself together, get your own place, get your car together, get it fixed up, save your money, man, focus on you, and then if you and your wife get back together, it is what it is, but you still have a car and a house to fall back on in case it don't work out. But no, he didn't listen, and then I seen him right before, about 2 years ago. It was right before I was getting ready to move into the apartment in which I'm staying in now. I seen him. I stopped in the Hardee's, got something to eat. Dude so happened to be working that day. He like, man, you can do this. I was like, all right. Man, you ain't gonna believe this. I was like, okay, what's up? Told me about the situation with his wife. I was like, oh. Then, told me about the situation with this little young girl he was messing with. Now, he was in his, like, 40s, 43, 44. With a chick who's, like, 21. Man, oh, man. They ended up getting into an argument, and she grabbed the steering wheel while they was on the highway, and they wrecked the car. Oh, wow. You wrecked the caddy? He's like, yeah.
That's crazy.
And then he was homeless, she was homeless. He got her on at Hardee's, and both was homeless. And then they were splitting the cost at this little cheap-ass motel up the street called Stratford Inn. She convinced him to leave the warmth in the middle of the wintertime, the warmth of a hotel room to be on the streets because the bed was too hard. And he told me all of this, and he like, but we good now. I'm like, how are you good? She wrecked your car. Y'all homeless, so she convinced you to move out of this little raggedy, room, which, I mean, it's cheap and it's warm. So between the two of y'all cool. That would make sense. for y'all to split the cost of this little room and save your money until y'all can
Mm-hmm.
get your own place. And after all this stuff happening, y'all cool? Really? And then,
How?
right. And then he asking me, man, what's going on with you? Man, what's up with you and Kim? I was like, oh, we broke up. Man, for real, I thought y'all was going to be together. Well, I thought we was too, but it didn't. So moving on, I'm doing what I got to do. He like, you still staying over at the church? I was like, yeah, but I'm getting ready to move, though. I got this apartment. I'll be moving in this weekend. And he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. What you got, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom? I was like, I got a 1-bedroom. You can't come stay with me. Oh, man, you right. You goddamn right I'm right. You can't stay with me. I gave you the opportunity to stay with me one time, to get your stuff together. I told you what to do. I told you how to do it, and you didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about he's finna move with his brother or something way out in North County. I'm like, okay, bro. I was like, we still cool, but I really don't talk to dude like that.
Got too much going on.
Because those are the type of people who just basically don't listen to anything that anybody tells them. And as a result, they continually walk through the desert, like the Israelites had to walk through the desert for 40 years for a whole generation to stink and think it could die off.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there, so I'm speaking from experience. When you continue to make poor decisions, you're forced to repeat the same mistake over and over. It's like being in a genjutsu. If anybody has seen any type of anime, Naruto, there's these techniques called genjutsu, and it's an illusion. And it could be anything from you dying to you walking in circles and seeing the same tree over and over again. That's basically what your life is like when you continually to make poor decisions. You wonder why you ain't get that job. You wonder why you ain't get that house. You wonder why you ain't get that girl. You wonder why you're going as good as you wanted to. It's because you continually to make poor decisions. I've made poor decisions. I have
We all have.
deserts where ain't shit popping for me. Couldn't get this job, couldn't get this
Yeah.
job, couldn't get this job. I've been there, so I can tell you from experience.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I came up out of that though. I'm 30 now. I'm tired of losing jobs and apartments and cars and all this stuff, while my friends are excelling at life while they're taking trips and traveling all over the world. Now, mind you, I'm not jealous and I ain't hating at the fact that they take trips. Wonderful. Take trips and do everything that you can do in this world before you die. Because I am too. I had never planned on taking all type of trips when I was younger. My thing is, I want to work, and I might take a few little trips here and there, but like nothing serious like overseas. I want to work, and then when I get to maybe like in my 40s or something, and it starts to slow down, then I can start to take more trips. And then hopefully by that time I have kids and a family, and I can take the kids on a trip, and then they can get a world perspective or whatever. But that's just me, man. That's just me. I'm here to tell you, family, there's a thing. It is called the gospel of commitment. It is a lifestyle piece by me. And if you look on my YouTube, I did a lecture about it some time ago. But basically, the goal is to have an equilateral triangle. Equilateral meaning all sides being equal. The top of your triangle is that your spiritual. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you was created to be and all the things that come with that. Your physical, you got to eat right and exercise. Your mental, you got to study. You got to read. You got to educate yourself.
Yes.
Doing those things, I guarantee you a successful life. just three categories. People always want to argue about the minute details. Well, what about that? And what about this? Those are subcategories, people. Those are subcategories.
True.
Those are up to you. But the main point is that you want to have a healthy spiritual relationship with yourself and the one who created you. Try to eat right, exercise. We don't always eat right. We eat more red meat than we should. We eat more sweets than we should. I do it. I don't exercise like I should. We all guilty of it. But I ain't out here eating chitlins and hog maws every other day either.
Chili, pig feet.
Hog head, cheese, and everything that.
Yeah, man.
And like I say, I'm constantly reading, I'm studying, I'm absorbing. And it's not just books. It's also being aware of your surroundings, studying your surroundings, studying people. All of that comes into how you sharpen your mind.
Yes, it does.
Because you can see things. When I was in the county, I didn't know how to spot a dope fiend. I didn't know how to spot a dope fiend. I grew up in the county. I grew up in Florissant, Hazelwood School District. I didn't know what a dope fiend was. I had never seen drugs. I could look at a nigga, yeah, he's strung out on that run.
Yeah.
But that comes from the education that the hood gave me. The hood is a different education than the county. So when I got my hood education, now I'd be like, nigga, you a dope fiend, you a crack addict, you a bum, you doing this, that, and the other. Versus somebody who's actually trying.
True.
Well, I guess that's it for today's episode of the Socially Conscious St. Louis podcast.
Yeah.
Your host,
Yeah.
Landrum. And you can reach me on the Instagram at TheOverweightLover. That is the letter D, OVR, WEIGHT, LVR. You can also reach us on the SSCSTL podcast at gmail.com for any questions, inquiries, or anything that you would like us to touch on. You can shoot us that email, or you can write us in the comments, and we will make sure to include that in the next episode, because we can hash it out. Whatever your question is, whatever your problem is, we can discuss it, we can hash it out and try to give you an answer. Of course, it's going on my YouTube, but man, support my YouTube channel and all of my independent videos.
Like, share, and
the
subscribe.
podcast. I'm sorry.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, like, share, subscribe, comment, man. Let me know how y'all feeling. Comment on the video. Don't nobody want to comment. Let me know how you feeling. Share it. Tell people about it. I think this is cool. I actually like this. No bones. I ain't trying to dick ride myself, but I've listened to the first and second episode a couple times, and I actually enjoy it outside of us doing it, because it's a different experience. When I'm speaking here right now, everything is strictly coming off the top of the dome, so it's all in the moment. So from me talking about it versus listening to it, because I'm listening to it, then it's be like, oh, okay, I said this, oh, damn, I said that, oh, that was deep, oh, Rebecca said that, that was funny, that I might not necessarily catch the first time because it's all like first-hand information. Throat getting dry and scraggly, so I'm going to stop talking, Rebecca. What you got to say, what you got to promote, where can the people find you? Can they find you in Kansas?
No, don't come here. I ain't got time for that. Put her up.
Now, you can find me in Kansas. That's a big state. You can find me in Kansas.
Good luck. You can find me on Facebook at Arthur Rebecca Quarles, or Arthur R. Quarles. You can also find me at RFG, the series. I have a Facebook page on there. You can also find me on Instagram. My name is Lady Q, which is probably what I think I want to start calling myself. I actually like that. So my Instagram name is Lady Q on Instagram. I do not have I don't have Twitter. I'm thinking about getting Twitter, but I don't know yet. Also, you can email me at www.creativewritersllc@gmail.com, or you can email me at quarrels.rebecca@gmail.com. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you would like to promote for Black businesses?
Yes.
I don't have issues with other businesses, but it has to be a legit Black business. Nothing that's swindling the people. Don't send me no nonsense, because I'm going to put you on blast.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, that's how you can reach me.
Yeah, man, you can find me on St. Rules Wrong when them does. But it's all because, look, Nelly had them joints back in the day, bro. Nelly made me proud to be from St. Louis. You remember that Battle of Rebecca? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mark from W3 TV. We're here with Bob Beautiful. Go Bob, say hi. Say the fish don't fry in the kitchen. Beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of terrain just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues. My dirty is my turn at bat. Hey, that was that shit, man.
Yeah, man.
That's how I feel about Nelly's business enterprise. The nigga made some fire-ass music, dog.
Yes, he did.
Nigga made some fire-ass music. Shout out to Nelly for the music, dog.
Where I'm going.
At least the first two albums. That country rap shit, you can keep that. But the first two albums and the St. Lunatics album, we rock with you, my nigga. Tune in next week, and we out. Peace.
Hey.